And then in the middle of it, this is sort of the crux of it. Most of your credit is really just this stuff. 60% of the entire thing is doing calculations, right? So you definitely want to do some calculations so that they can be correct. Make sure you label your units. And you may choose to do everything in G's. You might do it in meters per second squared. I just don't know. You could decide. But if you're comparing them, always put them in the same thing. I think my preference would be just keep everything in G's because that's sort of the natural unit of acceleration. But there are lots of other things that you might be calculating, like a final velocity, right? You might be calculating a length of something. Just make sure you label the units. Um, Make sure your calculations aren't, for example, wrong. Okay. Some clues to this might be that you get the radius of the screaming eagle to be 80 meters or something like that. I mean, imagine if that were true, that would be super awesome, but it definitely is not. Okay, 80 meters is 80% the length of a soccer field. So, there we have it, right? And then analysis here, and we'll talk about this. I'll give you some example of this, right? But we basically want you to compare three things. So you could calculate the g-force on a ride. That would be the centripetal acceleration. So you do a calculation like v squared over r, right? And then you can compare that to you ride it with the accelerometer. So here's one thing. Here's two, you rode it with the ride and you measured the g-force with your accelerometer. You could request data be taken, right, with one of the lab pros. That'd be your third thing, right? Or you could possibly get the g-force from video analysis. That could be even a fourth thing. You'd press the heck out of us, right? Okay. We want you to do that for at least two of your rides. And the other ride, you could only compare two things. I think that'd be okay. Some of the rides I'm just going to say are going to be pretty hard to do that. Okay. We know that. Duggan and I know which rides are hard to do, and we're not going to kill you on this. Okay. So just make sure this is what we're looking for, right? The key word here is to compare. Okay, compare three different ways: the centripetal acceleration this way, this way, this way, this way. But there's lots of other things you can do. It doesn't have to be centripetal acceleration. In the next series of videos, I'll give you some ideas about this. Okay.